All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Open Field Podcast. I'm Mike. That's Ooze.
Yo,
That's Dylan.
Thanks for tuning in again, guys.
Today we got kind of a mixed bag for you guys. Some stories from the last week, our thoughts, and we have a new segment at the end we're going to try out. So let's get right into it. Our first headline is from the MLB, where it seems right now there will be no MLB in 2020. If you're not aware, the MLB and the MLBPA, the Player Association, have been at war this week over negotiations to start the 2020 MLB season that have lasted over a month. The MLB can't get a deal done. 99% of the players clearly want to play, and the owners have backtracked on a portion of the agreement after they offered it. Basically, the players want full prorated salaries, more testing, and a 100-plus game season, and the owners want to pay a portion of prorated salaries and a shorter 50 to 60 game season to guarantee a postseason before a second potential wave of coronavirus hits in the fall. The two sides can't come to terms, and now Commissioner Rob Manfred can rule a start date if the two sides can't come to terms on a deal. The owners and the players are asking for it, but now Rob Manfred, after stating last week that we will 100% have baseball, now says he's not confident we will see baseball this year. So NFL fans, if you think you have it bad with Roger Goodell, you haven't seen shit. Rob Manfred may go down as the worst sports commissioner of all
bro,
time.
he's hot garbage. Okay, that's the first hot garbage you're gonna get today because you're talking about the guy who said that everybody cheats in MLB, like after the Houston Astro thing. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of commissioner says that? You know, like that everybody cheats like, in some sort of way. No, they cheated. They clearly cheated. Punish them. Like, you don't go and try and cover it up by saying everybody cheats. Like, he's garbage. Like, people really do take Roger Goodell for granted. Like, this man is hot garbage.
Yeah, Roger Goodell gives out unjust punishments. I feel like his Libra scale is really off balance with the, giving a very harsh penalty for somebody for popping on PEDs, and then a really lenient penalty for a guy who hits his wife in an elevator. And on this case, rather than being too lenient or too harsh, Rob Manfred just isn't anything at all. He just doesn't give a shit at this point, basically.
I mean, when was the last time we had an NFL lockout?
Really,
I can't remember.
There's really no integrity in terms of like enforcing some kind of any kind of sanctions or any kind of punishment.
Right, and the worst thing about it is if you say, like, I don't think even a lot of MLB fans probably don't know who the commissioner. That's how bad it is because the league is ran by the owner. This is why MLB is being so difficult right now because it's not the commissioner. Commissioner literally has no say in this, which is insane. It's the owners. The owners own this league. You know what I mean? They're making the rules. They're pushing this, saying that no, you're gonna get this amount prorated and this amount for playoffs, and that's it. We want to play this amount of games. Instead of commissioner, if I was commissioner, I'm like, let's try and make this 50-50, or to be honest, without the players, there is no league. So nobody's going to get paid if we don't have the players. Give them 100% and call it a day.
Yeah, they're kind of, especially, we're going to get into it in a second, but the biggest thing that's kind of separated the two sides has been prorated salaries. The games are kind of one thing. I do get what the owners are saying by having a longer or shorter season. But part of how the salaries work, the players want a longer season because it's going to guarantee them more revenue. But I have a timeline here. It starts on May 11th. In case you haven't been following or paying attention, it's kind of like a fucking soap opera for the past 2 months. So May 11th, the owners reached an agreement. Prior to the start of negotiations with the union, the owners approved a plan that would include an 82-game season, expanded rosters, and an expanded postseason that would include 14 teams. The plan also calls for the aforementioned 50-50 revenue split between the owners and players. That'll go out the fucking window very shortly. May 12th, the next day, they had no talks about money on day one. 3 days later, the players likely to agree on a universal DH. That's understandable. That's probably still going to be if they play. And then you had players like Blake Snell reacting on Twitch, where it made headlines, talking about the 50-50 revenue split. He said the risk of contracting COVID-19 is just not worth it, while noting the players had already agreed to a previous pay reduction. May 16th, safety protocol proposal leaks. Player compensation has been identified as one of two big issues the sides have to resolve. The other is the safety of the players and other essential personnel. Over the weekend, The Athletic published highlights from a 67-page safety and testing protocol the league submitted to the union, and the memo included MLB's plans for testing, travel, and other pertinent topics. And then 2 days later, the owners came out and said that they'll lose roughly right around $640,000 per game during an 82-game season. Obviously, there's no way to verify those numbers, but given the closed book nature of professional sports accounting, it's still the above figure is one of the reasons the owners are pushing for players to agree to further pay reductions to kind of offset those losses as part of the 50-50 revenue split. And then a day later, the Padres catcher and a union rep, Austin Hedges, was optimistic about an agreement happening, like a lot of people were. And then players start reviewing safety proposals on May 20th. And then on May 20th, the MLB presents formal proposal to players. Rob Manfred and the MLB attorneys planned to present their formal economic plan to the union by Friday of May 20th. The MLB will further detail the financial losses the league claims it will incur, and that's where the negotiations start. On May 21st, the union responded to the MLB proposal, and then May 22nd, the MLB was to present a new economic proposal because the players were not surprisingly unimpressed by the owner's opening offer that entailed further cutting salaries in response to the likelihood that the fans will not be in attendance for at least part of the year. Players have already agreed to prorate their salaries based on a number of games played, but the MLB was looking for further concessions. May 24th, the players reportedly expected to ask for deferrals. So they were okay with deferring some of their salary owed from 2020 into later years, just backloading their contracts essentially. And May 26th, the owners made the first financial proposal, and the MLB Players Association was disappointed with that one. And they kind of go back and forth. That was on May 26th. May 22nd, Max Scherzer speaks out. I believe he said he was not playing, correct?
Yeah, he said he's not. He's not doing it.
Yeah, Nationals right-hander union member Max Scherzer on Wednesday night tweeted that players have no reason to engage with the MLB in any further compensation reductions. So players essentially feeling like they were getting fleeced by the MLB owners. May 29th, MLB Players Association was waiting for evidence of dubious financial claims. So basically the claims they were saying that they were going to lose all this money. They kind of failed to provide tangible evidence that they would need an additional pay cut of more than $800 million, which is absolutely insane.
So let me stop you there since we're like almost halfway through it. So when the MLB owners said about this, $640,000 per game that they're going to lose and blah blah blah, they're trying to take the budgeted amount of revenue that they were going to get without the fans coming in, and then trying to project that through every game with the long season and compare that to what we're going to be paying the players. Mind you that they're losing a lot of money off of not only the fans and commissary, but also TV deal. Like every season they're supposed to, broadcast so many games, and because of that, all these TV deals are getting revised because they're not showing any live sports. Now, when the Player Association goes and says, "How is that possible that you're losing all this money?" They're not factoring in that when it comes down to fans and purchases on site, that we, as the owners, I'm going to speak as the owner, that we're still going to try to, you want 100%, but we're not getting 100%. That is the only problem there. And then the MLBPA is trying to say, no, that shouldn't be right. Just because Corona, we shouldn't be getting short paid, and you guys still get like mostly all of it. So that's the dubious financial claims that they're trying to find, which I don't think they will. But they're trying to find that because later on you go through the timeline that they're trying to make a grievance claim against the MLB.
Yeah,
and owners.
then that'll play into it towards the end of the timeline too, with some of the legalities of what the players are filing. And once you start to go through the end of the timeline, it starts to get a little more clear cut where they're negotiating. But what a lot of MLB fans have problems with is towards the last like 6 or 7 days. So on May 31st, the Players Association proposed a 114-game season with no additional pay cuts. They didn't want any additional pay cuts, and they were going to play 114 games. The MLB was willing to pay prorated salaries if they were to play in a shorter season. So this agreement would see the players earn a percentage of their full 2020 salaries based on the number of games played. Example, they would get 50% of their salary in an 81-game season. So in that structure, it obviously incentivizes the players to try and get the most games they possibly can out of the season, while the owners want a shorter season to guarantee the playoffs, guarantee a World Series, because that's where a lot of the money's going to come from, especially from TV deals.
Right. And the problem about it is like, as they're going back and forth and giving proposals, it takes a couple of days. You know what I mean? Like, takes 2 or 3 days for them to revise or like look over the proposed for the MLB owners.
Correct. 3 days.
As you're doing this,
proposals were good for.
Right, and as they're doing this, they're losing time.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing games. So for me at this like point in the timeline, I just feel like the Player Association is stalling. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to say, well, now we don't like the 114 games. Maybe we can go to.
You mean the owners are stalling?
No, the players are stalling
Because the play.
Yes,
I believe the players want to play. I don't think it's them not wanting to play. I just think it's not worth it for them to play if they're not going to get their prorated salaries.
Right.
But yeah, I mean I think that's the main concept of it, because they don't want to. They even are asking, even the MLB's asking Rob Manfred to put a structure out there because they can't come to an agreement on it.
Mm-hmm.
But June 3rd, the MLB rejected the Players Association's proposal. They said they would not make a counteroffer. The proposal would have had featured a 114-game season and expanded postseason. The league is not expected to make a counteroffer. The owners would prefer a shorter regular season with the assurance that a postseason will be completed before November. And then June 4th, 1 day later, the players resoundingly reject additional pay cuts. In a statement by MLB Players Association Director Tony Clark, says players have resoundingly rejected the idea of taking further pay cut and remain firm on calling for prorated salaries for the 2020 season. Noted that the overwhelming consensus of the board is that players are ready to report, ready to get back on the field, and they are willing to do so under unprecedented conditions that could affect the health and safety of not only themselves, but their families as well. 4 days, there's dead time. Nothing happens. Then June 8th, the MLB proposes a 76-game season, which it would be, let's see here, from what they initially offered. MLB wanted a 52-game season, I believe, so they ended up pushing it to 76 games, but wanted the pay cuts. And then 1 day later, the Players Association proposed an 89-game season without the pay cuts. So they're just not on the same page. June 10th is where
you missed there, and they wanted to expand the postseason to 16 teams.
So to 16 instead of the 14 that was originally
right.
That was originally discussed at the beginning of negotiations. Yep. Yeah. Now June 10th is where it really starts to go sour, especially for Rob Manfred. On June 10th, Rob Manfred guaranteed, saying on MLB Network and prior to Wednesday's MLB draft, that it was 100% that a 2020 season will take place. Manfred went on to say that he hopes that a negotiated settlement between his side and the players is the ultimate outcome, but he also indicated that he would mandate a structure of the season if owners in the union are unable to reach an agreement. The March 26 Accord gives Manfred the power to implement a regular season structure so long as bargaining has been in good faith. As always, that's a matter of interpretation. If it comes to that, then Manfred would likely implement a regular season of 48 to 50 games. Another report came out saying that if it happened, the number would start with 5. So it would be anywhere from 50 to 59 games. On June 12th, the owners make another offer. The owners had offered a 72-game season with the players getting 70% of their prorated salaries and 80% if the pro season is able to be completed. Again, not sufficing, the players standing their ground, saying that they will not play under cut salaries, like 100%. June 13th, one day later, the Players Association rejected the latest offer, tells MLB to schedule season. So that's where they forced Rob Manfred's hand. They said, as expected, the Players Association rejected the offer. Tony Clark invited Commissioner Rob Manfred to schedule the season and tell us when and where so the players can report. The MLB Players Association sent MLB a scathing letter accusing them of underhanded tactics to circumvent the union and one delay tactic after another. The March agreement allows Manfred to unilaterally schedule the season at any length as long as the players are paid full prorated salaries. Obviously, they want that to happen because the biggest thing they've been bargaining for happens under that mandate. The Players Association has demanded MLB inform the union of its plans no later than Monday. That was June 13th, so Monday's come and gone. The owners set to have a Monday conference call and decided that they are also done negotiating. Then Rob Manfred changes his entire outlook on what he said previously at the MLB draft. He held a conference call Monday afternoon to discuss a 2020 season. He was also on the ESPN special, The Return of Sports, where he said owners in the MLB Players Association still have to negotiate specific health and safety protocols before they can make a determination of the length of the season. Following Monday's call, Rob Manfred said he is not confident there will be a 2020 season during the ESPN interview.
This is where being a commissioner is such important. As this negotiation is going on, you should be putting in place everything that doesn't words escape my mind. Doesn't matter to the negotiation. You should be getting testing done. You should be getting the medical staffs done. You should be getting quarantine stuff done for those players who are testing for asymptomatic or systematic done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that way, when this stall comes up, you say, okay, everything else is in place. Now I'm going to say, you guys going to come to agreement. I'm going to start the season because I am a commissioner that loves my sport. I'm going to start the season.
Not only that, but you said that we will 100% have baseball, and now you've doubled back on it. And
because he's he's not the commissioner. The owners are. Mm-hmm. He's the worst. He's the worst.
So Tony Clark made a statement yesterday. Again, that's the executive director of the Players Association. He said players are disgusted that after Rob Manfred unequivocally told players and fans that there would be 100% a 2020 season, he has decided to go back on his word and is now threatening to cancel the entire season. Any implication that the Players Association has somehow delayed progress on health and safety protocols is completely false. As Rob has recently acknowledged, the parties are very, very close. This latest threat is just one more indication that Major League Baseball has been negotiated in bad faith since the beginning. This has always been about extracting additional pay cuts from players, and this is just another day and another bad faith tactic on their ongoing campaign. So this man just pulls a machine gun out and just fucking sprays it at him. I mean, that he just spit fucking hot fire at him. And Change.org has a petition to remove Rob Manfred, and it has like 30,000 signatures. I thought it was going to be a lot more.
He's a fucking
But
bum.
he needs to go.
The players, there is no baseball without the players, obviously.
Right.
So just fucking pay him. You're not going to make shit without him anyway.
But again, he has the power. He has the power to pay him.
Like, what does he do, though?
By making the schedule.
Do?
So when in March they had a bargaining agreement where if they didn't come to both sides, that Rob Manfred could structure a season, and the season would be 50-something games, fully prorated. So that's what they would receive, basically they would receive basically a third of their salary, but we 100% guaranteed for each game they play. So that's where it's at with what he was planning to do. The owners the Players Association is calling for it to happen. So they put the ball in Rob Manfred's court, and he is declining right now to act on it. Who knows what's going to happen? But the fact that he comes out and he says he's not confident that there will be an MLB season when he has the power to start the MLB season, I think just says everything right there.
Yeah. Look, man, I just want to see fucking Bryce Harper smack bombs. I don't think there's going to be an MLB season.
I want to see Joe Girardi coach his first season as a Philly, bro.
For real, right? Like me, Mike, and Mitch, we were talking about like they were going to go to Phillies games because they like not half the Yankees, but they have Girardi, they have Didi.
Yeah,
like they were talking about wanting to go to see Phillies games.
I would love to. I would love to go. I mean, I'm not a Philadelphia Phillies fan, but I always, whenever I go to a game, I kind of turn into one. You know, unless they're playing the Yankees, I think we went to one game.
Bro.
But
just the atmosphere in that.
Oh. I love being in that park only because it's a lot more. It's so low to the ground, if that makes sense. The seating, and
it's a beautiful park. One of the best parks in the league.
It's so open.
Because you feel like you're actually at the game. Like I've been to like the newer stadium and the old stadium of the Yankees, and it's just the fact that even like your 200 seats are so far.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you're just watching it from your iPhone.
That's a big fucking stadium.
The stadium as a whole, though, I think I like Yankee Stadium better. I mean, I might be a little biased, but like going through the halls is always
like a Coliseum.
Is so nostalgic, and like the restaurants built into it, and the museum above, and
I only went the one time when your brother took me to the I think it was a playoff game in 2017, and I think it was against the Astros actually.
Dude, I tell you what, if you ever if we ever can go to a baseball game again, we should go to the museum that they have upstairs. You go on a tour, and dude, that place is mind blowing. Dude, like used jerseys from the 50s and the 60s, and like just all the memorabilia they have up there. They have like David Cohn's glove and all. It's just, there's so much shit up there, man.
I love getting to games early and just walking around the stadium, just looking at all the cool shit.
I think I haven't been to a game when it started in like 4 years.
Oh yeah, dude, you always. I mean, you have trouble getting up there.
Yeah, it's tough.
New York, it's fucking brutal, man.
And you know what's surprising? Like parking's very simple up there, as you wouldn't think it would be, but like when we get in there, we're parked within 5 minutes. Like once we're like on that block,
really,
and we're like within 5 minutes, dude. We're out of our car. We're walking. Basically, we're
like I said, I only went there the one time, but that shit, we got to go to a separate parking garage. Like Philly, it's probably the easiest complex in the whole country.
That's because it's not in Philadelphia.
You always say that.
Listen, bro, I can't call it in Philadelphia when I can turn around and look at Philadelphia. Yo,
what you mean, bro?
Dude, bro, you look at the skyline. Like, I understand there's other parts of Philadelphia that aren't like the big city, but like when you stand there, it's so close to the fucking. It's closer. It's closer to New Jersey than it is to like upper city.
Let's get back on subject.
But yeah, no, we should definitely go because but the Phillies stadium is I like a lot. The net not being there is fucking dope on the first base line.
I think they added it though.
Did they add
last year? Yeah, they added it up to like not all the way to the pole, but a decent amount.
To the pole, like to the
the foul line.
No, they didn't.
No, not all the way, but it's up the dugout.
Yeah. So when Todd Frazier hit that girl at Yankee Stadium,
Oof.
like a couple of years ago, the MLB pretty much made it across all the parks. They updated the netting straight down the first base and third base line, where it's not obstructing, but it's very, very. It's a shame, man, because dude, when you were sitting in MVP level seating, or you were sitting like 10 rows back on first base line behind the dugout, it was a reason to be there. But when you have the netting there, you're just looking through it. It's kind of fucked.
Same thing with hockey and shit, but
yeah,
I mean,
I have pictures like of with it, like sitting in this kind of the same seats with it and without it, and it's night and day. It looks incredible without it. All right, but back on topic. Do you think we'll just end it? Do you think baseball's coming back?
I don't think so, bro. Unless Manfred like balls up and does something, this ain't going nowhere. I mean, it sucks, but I don't think we're going to see any baseball.
I don't think it's happening this year either.
Yeah.
To be honest, if it does, I'm pretty excited. McCutcheon's definitely playing. You know what I mean? Like, but there's no.
We waste a year of Garrett Cole's contract. Hey, Sevy can get the rest though. It's all right. And the crazy thing is we like the Yankees have so much to benefit from the season starting right now. It's because they had so many players that were going to be on the DL and the IR to start the season, and now they're back. Like the team's pretty healthy right now to start out, and they didn't have to play any games to sacrifice. So
how does that work? Like Bryce Harper makes the way he structured his contract like 25, 26 mil. Mm-hmm. If they don't play at all, does he get paid? Does the players get paid?
No. And I believe that his contract doesn't expire.
Like you don't add on to the end of it.
When they say years, that means seasons. Like he still has to play.
Oh, so it would add on? Like
I believe it would shift his contract. I think they were talking about with the NFL too. If you don't play a 2020 season, then if the 2021 season essentially the 2020 season
is their second season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. It's shitty fucking situation.
Oh, and one more thing on MLB. A letter today, the MLB told the Players Association that there will be no 2020 season unless the players waived any legal claims against the league. So, like what you were talking about before about filing grievances, that's another thing too. And so it's just a clusterfuck. There's tons of fucking layers to it. It's like
it sucks, man, because obviously they always call baseball America's pastime, but like over the last, I mean, how long? I don't want to say baseball is dead because it's not, but NFL definitely took over that as America's most watched sport. Like baseball's so good, but like
I'd say baseball's definitely
like what is it? Is it the speed of the game? They tried fixing
it's the speed of the game.
You think
also,
so? I think baseball is great.
Look,
I love
all the kids grew up playing baseball. And baseball's kind of fallen back to football and basketball. I mean, basketball is a huge jump in the last 30 years.
I was going to say that. Even like, especially like 10, 15 years. Basically since, I don't want to say it's LeBron because I'm a giant LeBron fan, but I don't know. Maybe it's the shoes. The shoes have like a big thing to do with it.
It's also David Stern was really big on expanding out through social media during his time there, and a lot of TV deals. Like he really commercialized the NBA a lot more than it currently was.
And the NBA game is maybe about 2 hours long. It's quick. There's always action. Like it's easy to watch. Very easy to watch.
Unless you're at a baseball game. A baseball game is a tough watch when nothing's happening.
I understand that.
Or should I say, like you can watch a basketball game, you can watch a football game if you have no vested interest in it. Mm-hmm. When you have no vested interest in an MLB game, it's a tough fucking watch.
Yeah, I get that. Watch. Like I enjoy when I come home from work to watch it. It helps me like unwind. It's kind of like slows everything down. But I agree. If you have no idea what's going on, that shit can be brutal.
Well, no. I mean, when I say vested interest, I mean like if you have no care about either team playing. Like if I'm watching the fucking Padres play the Astros, Like, I really don't give a shit about that fucking game.
But you could watch like Green Bay and San Fran.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm not watching fantasy or playing fantasy, I could still
so much
watch
easier.
that. I could watch, Rockets,
Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Like I could watch those games with good players in them. Like I agree. It's a tough watch for a lot of people. You have to be like a baseball buff, and that's becoming like less and less prevalent these days.
Yep.
But all right, let's get off MLB. We'll probably never talk about it again for the rest of the fucking year. Next topic, Ezekiel Elliott and one Texan player test positive for COVID-19. Ezekiel Elliott very upset that his testing was leaked. He said on Twitter that his agent was getting calls from reporters all morning. Does hearing top names being infected this early worry you about the 2020 season?
No. I mean, when you talk about, it's good. I feel like it's good that, you're getting these positives and these testings done before training camp. You know what I mean? Like, this is what the MLB should have been doing. They still have to test hundreds of players. You know what I mean? The NFL is testing players now. Okay, it got leaked. Whoop-de-doo. You positive. You're fine. You're quarantined. And then after you pass it, you're going to be immune to it or whatever the case may be. It's done. Move on to the next person. Let the test be done. You know what I mean? You have, soccer right now. Bundesliga in Germany has been playing for 2 weeks. They got all their shit done. Why can't we get our shit done?
Yeah, and not to cut you off, but it doesn't concern you that when we're not doing shit that we're getting positives. Like, imagine like what happens when they play, or they start up a camp. Only because the NFL is vastly different than the NBA and the MLB. There's a lot more moving parts in the NFL, and they have the most contact of any sport in the league, even more than soccer, you'd say, because it's 11-on-11. Soccer don't play 11-on-11, right? I'm a terrible fucking soccer fan. They don't play 11-on-11, right?
They do play 11-on-11.
Oh, they do? All right, it's kind of the same. But they don't fucking they don't hit each other fucking 60 times.
I mean, they touch each other every single what?
Yeah, they do. They get kind of close to each other, but it's not
kind of close. They tackle each other, bro.
But it's not to the
what
severity.
Are you talking about?
It's not to the severity of
bro. They have no protection. You have face masks. You have mouth guards. No, listen. Okay, with soccer, you literally have shin pads. That's the only protection you have.
Yeah,
they literally touch each other all the time.
I don't think when it's out in the open air, I don't think it really matters if you have a fucking a helmet or a fucking face mask on. I really don't. I think any kind of physical contact. But you're gonna tell me that that soccer has more physical contact than football?
I mean, the sport itself, like, no, but as in like just touching like each other, yes. Dude, I mean, when you talk about football, you talk about people who have shin pads, helmets, gloves, mouthpieces. Soccer doesn't have any of that.
I mean, but dude, it's not magical fucking armor, It's like...
understandable, but you're talking about things that will, like, if I spit or something gets on my hands, you're touching glove to glove. You know what I mean? Like, you're wrapped up. In soccer, I'm pushing against somebody can cough on me like at any time. I mean, like without anything blocking. You know what I mean? Like, not to say the face mask block anything, but like you're spitting down or what because you have your helmet on. If I'm running against you, I'm putting my hand right in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying with physical contact.
I don't know. The NFL is rolling around like they're just going to fucking roll right into the season.
I don't know. And the point I was going to make is that, like, even if they're 11-on-11, you have 52-man rosters. How many rosters do we have? What's the roster size in the NBA? 20-something? 23?
Dude.
What's the roster size in the MLB?
Dude, like 12 starters or 12 people on the court or some crazy number like
25 active players in MLB, I think it is. But they're gonna probably expand the rosters.
I don't look.
Like,
sorry, you go.
No, you're fine. No, go.
I was gonna say I'm an Eagles fan, obviously, but I don't think it's right that they leaked Zeke's shit. Like that's personal shit.
Well, he was actually talking about the HIPAA, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, but prevents the disclosure of medical information without patient approval. But that only applies to healthcare providers, not testing agencies, not. I guess they had independent testing, so only his healthcare provider would be prevented from disclosing his information.
Gotcha.
So I mean, while it's shitty, it's legal.
Hopefully he's all right. I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine.
He said, yeah, he had no reason to believe. Fuck you, Siri.
Like, what made him get tested? Was he having any symptoms?
I believe they were doing routine testing.
Gotcha.
Preparing for the season because you have training camp in a couple of weeks.
But
it's just that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, this is
I mean,
that
him and
the guy that
Dak were having fucking house parties. But
apparently Dak tested negative for COVID-19, and he counter-offered with COVID-20 and COVID-35.
The fuck does that even mean?
Because contract is still stupid.
His contract.
He was making a joke.
I tried to put two and two together.
A very bad joke.
I meant to say fucking 29 and 35. All right, let me see here.
I don't know. I don't think that puts the NFL in jeopardy at all.
It's just funny how it's the guy that was in headlines about going out to dinner and socializing and shit like that, and he's the one.
I don't know. Players are playing together. Like Wentz has been practicing with Rhaegar.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers has
Rhaegar
been throwing. Like Phillip Rivers has thrown a couple of receivers. Like because of that, again, the routine testing are going to come through. They're going to get tested. Some positives are going to be there, and those positives are also can be positive with asymptomatics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
and now they're saying, I don't even want to fucking start talking about that bullshit. I was gonna say they're between asymptomatic. They don't think it can fucking spread, but now they're saying maybe it can. I don't know. I don't want to talk about that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it'll be something fucking different next week, dude.
Yeah, I mean, and then we'll talk about it next week. But I think at the time right now, I think we're good. I think even though it was leaked, it's a good sign. And even when it's leaked, those who are around him and haven't gotten tested should get tested. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're having house parties. You know what I mean? He was around teammates. And if those teammates haven't gotten tested yet, they should go get tested because now they know he had corona. All these bitches he was fucking. Now they go to like, now you know you most likely have corona. You know what I mean? So, sorry, ladies.
Yeah, you can't be saying shit like that anymore.
All these females using fucking. Okay.
Like that made it any better. All right, so on to our next topic. The Broncos signed an exclusive deal with FanDuel. FanDuel is now the official home of any sports bets involving the Denver Broncos. How do you guys feel about sports teams or the NFL teams, should I say, selling their licensing rights for betting?
That's weird.
Kind of weird, right?
I think that's totally so. What does that mean? They're the official home.
So let's say that the trend keeps going and all 32 teams do it. Imagine when you wake up in the morning and you want to bet on the Broncos, right? And you're on DraftKings. You're like, fuck, now I got to go on to the other app. Now let's say you want to parlay two games, right? If you're on DraftKings, let's say DraftKings has the Raiders, right?
Okay.
Let's say the Broncos they're on FanDuel. So you couldn't parlay the Broncos and the Raiders on it. It kind of limits your fan experience. Like we just got legalized sports betting, and now they're gonna fuck it up and privatize it. It's gonna be. It's just gonna.
I don't agree with that.
In it. Now imagine my question is, what happens when the Broncos play the Raiders? Can you just not bet that fucking game?
I don't know.
Like let's say the Raiders sign with DraftKings, right? How the fuck does that work?
I mean, I feel like you should be able to still bet that game though. Like if DraftKings, because when you pull, you're betting the game, not the team, I guess. if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like DraftKings can be like, I can't put Denver Broncos like in my betting thing. You know what I mean? Like they can put the Raiders versus Broncos, and you can still bet the Broncos. I feel like when the exclusive betting rights are more of like boosters, you know what I mean? Like you know how.
No, I'm a fucking idiot, dude.
Well, here we go.
All right,
Well,
ready?
here comes the editing.
Okay, so I don't think we'll edit this, but so the Broncos agree to a multi-year partnership with FanDuel, right?
That's
it's for
right.
advertising rights.
Yeah.
Advertising rights.
I was gonna say that would
so
be
like
fucked up.
FanDuel is the official sports betting app of the Denver Broncos, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So like
Okay.
so this, for example, the league has told teams, active players, or coaches cannot appear in any advertising for these sports betting partners, and teams cannot sell naming rights to stadiums or practice facilities to sportsbook companies. Yeah, that's a lot less strict.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say. So like for the Broncos, FanDuel, like because of their partnership, FanDuel will say, hey, if you parlay, 2 games, including the Broncos, there's an odds boost.
Yeah.
Because you're picking the Broncos.
Broncos boost.
Yeah, there's a Broncos boost. So that's how I read it. And
that might,
now you read it right. And
Drew Lock.
AFC.
Drew Lock. That's a nice segue to our next subject there. Drew Lock or Cam Newton.
Cam Newton was seen working out with Odell Beckham Jr. this week. There's a series of videos on Twitter of OBJ catching balls from Cam Newton. Now, there are quite a few teams that apparently are on Cam Newton's radar. DraftKings has Cam Newton's next key team, the front runners, the favorites, is still New England at plus 300. Arizona, interesting enough, DraftKings has as a plus 800. Pittsburgh plus 800. Tennessee and Washington are all plus 800. Baltimore is at a plus 900. Los Angeles is a 1,000. I'm not sure which fucking Los Angeles that is.
The Chargers.
Chargers, right? It's got to be. Seattle's plus 1,000, and Denver Broncos are a plus 1,200. Do we think we see Cam Newton as a free agent into September?
No shot.
There's
no shot.
Hope not.
There's no shot. I think more of the Washington, the Chargers, the I just blanked out my other team. Shoot, I just blanked out my other team. But anyways, like teams like those, I think they're gonna give him a call. I think they're New England. I think they're gonna give him a call. Yeah. And say, hey, we just want to bring you in, see what you got, because it's looking a little sus on our quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
I think if he gets ball into a system, I think it's going to be those schemes that he would fit into. Like Arizona makes sense. Baltimore makes sense. Washington kind of makes sense with Dwayne. I feel like they kind of operate on the same, plane. Like Dwayne Haskins is like a great value version of Cam Newton. Let's see. Chargers with Tyrod Taylor too. You know,
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's better than fucking Gardner Minshew.
Oh yeah, you also have freaking Jaguars. Like, I mean, I don't want them in the AFC South, but that's a team that most likely will like call him up.
He'll be fuck.
I can't believe you guys put him in fucking star potential.
He could be a free agent in the very beginning of the season, but by the end, definitely not. Someone will get hurt. He'll get signed some way.
Yeah, I think he definitely deserves to be a signed fucking quarterback in the league to some capacity. Do I think he starts this year? Not unless there's an injury or a team fucking just completely tanks.
And
I think for good reason. I don't think Cam doesn't have too much tread left in terms of age and his window, but I think riding a season out on the bench, and as weird as it sounds, developing, even though he doesn't need to fucking develop, I think would do him good to kind of like reset, get healthy. Like, when's the last time we seen Cam Newton healthy for a full season?
2015 when he went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he needs like a mental reset. I feel like he needs like a Derrick Rose fucking parting from the league for a little bit.
Look, and this challenge of him not having a team and trying to get on a team is that, reset. I mean, he's working towards something. He's not just trying to work towards a Super Bowl. He's working on trying to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think if it wasn't for COVID, I think he would be, signed. But I think when you compound COVID with the draft and the window, his hottest window was before the draft, and when teams couldn't take a look at him, and you go into the draft, a lot of teams address their needs. They got a quarterback in the 6th round, 7th round, or they address their third string. A lot of teams spent money signing players. Teams don't have money to just blow for whatever Cam Newton might be asking for, albeit it might not be a lot, but still. I think the window's kind of slim for a team to be interested in. It has nothing to do with the physical ability of him as a player. It's just if very few teams need to, not a lot of teams need to spend money on what they would potentially see as a backup if they already have their starters in line after the draft,
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's a tough thing. I think he'll, like, next season, by the end of next season, I think he'll be a starter in the NFL again. He'll be somewhere. He'll be developed back into an offense.
Definitely.
Right.
He's not done.
No, I don't think he's done. Anything more to add on?
No, I think on that, I think I'm fine.
Can we take him out of star potential?
No shot. I'm telling you, if he goes, I'm just putting it out there. If he goes to one of these teams with talent around him, like, unfortunately, I'm saying it again, the Jaguars with Leonard Fournette back there, with the young receivers they have, with the defense they have, that's trouble. You know what I mean? You go to New England, Bill Belichick, that's trouble. You know what I mean? Like, and with that weak,
I think
division.
he is, as weird as this is, like, you kind of can base certain quarterbacks off this. Like, I feel like he is a warm-weathered quarterback, though, not just because he was in Carolina. I don't know. Some quarterbacks just play better. Like Tom Brady, it's weird that he went to Tampa because he had a losing record down in Florida. I don't know if that has anything to do with the weather, but, like, I don't know, Matt Ryan, his record in the cold is shit. Drew Brees' record in the cold is shit. Like, I don't know if that has anything to do with just weather. I don't know.
By the way, not to get off topic, but Tom Brady. Did you guys see Tom Brady's pictures today in his New Jersey?
Yeah,
Fire.
Dog, for the first time ever, I feel like I can say Tom Brady looks his fucking age. He looked fucking old in those photos, man.
Well, I was going to send that to you guys and say, do you want to look like this when you're 42? Cause
I mean, yeah, I don't think he looks bad, but I think he definitely looks like he's in his 40s. Like, I don't know if it's just a different jersey that makes it look that way, but, like, he looks seasoned. I'll put it that way. He looks weathered.
Like barbecue chicken.
He looks beaten. He looks.
I mean,
a couple
these
tuck rules.
These fucking cameras these days pick up every goddamn wrinkle and fucking freckle on your face.
Yeah, I mean, it might be just the photos, but I don't know. I was like, damn, that dude's old now.
Prime time.
Just to touch on Cam Newton for just one more minute. Arizona and Baltimore would be two interesting spots to put him. Obviously, he'd be a backup there, but imagine the security, knowing that in the event that your quarterback goes down, that you have somebody who's experienced, who has Super Bowl experience, who's been in kind of a faster offense to jump in and just take the reins. I think those would be two interesting spots for him.
I don't think Baltimore is a spot for him. I don't think he's not at that point of being a backup like that.
No, I know, but, like, who would you rather have? Would you rather have RG3 or Cam Newton as your backup?
Cam Newton,
but it's not even a question.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I said, he's also not a backup.
I get that, but I feel like his window for this year is kind of dwindled, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
I would almost hope he doesn't get signed, because if he doesn't get, he should honestly not want to get signed, because if he's in the open market week 4, week 5, he'll probably start for an NFL team. If he gets signed and sits behind a roster, team's going to hold him. You know, let's say Jarrett Stidham fucking gets booed out of New England, right? Goes 0-5 in the first 5 games. Can't get anything going.
He sucks.
If Cam Newton's a free agent, that would be an exciting opportunity. If Cam Newton gets signed by Tennessee or Washington or one of these teams, he's pretty much dead in the water. He's sitting there and waiting, because you know that team's not trading him. You know they're not going to get rid of him when if he's going to sign a short-term contract like that. A lot of it's going to be guaranteed up front. There's really no incentive for the team to get rid of him. You know.
What about like Green Bay or Minnesota?
I just feel like not Green Bay.
Yeah, not Green Bay.
You give up a first rounder and you piss off your all-time great fucking quarterback.
Yeah,
you're not bringing Cam Newton in just to piss on everybody.
Right.
We'll see.
Not saying he wouldn't be good there, but that would be fucking fuel to the fire on there. And one of our last topics, Primetime and AB met up this week on Twitter. Probably a lot of you guys have seen the videos. AB is seeking guidance from Deion Sanders the past week in a series of videos showing the two talk about Prime's career and demons he carried during his career, and mentors AB about how to carry himself post 2019 meltdown. He talks about like a potential suicide that he was contemplating during a season. Some crazy shit, man, he was talking about. And if you didn't know, Antonio Brown pleaded no contest on June 12th to charges for felony burglary conveyance, misdemeanor battery, and misdemeanor criminal mischief. Brown will face no jail time, though he will have 2 years of probation and 100 hours of community service as a part of the plea. The free agent wide receiver will also have to undergo a mandatory psych evaluation and attend a 13-week anger management program as a part of the plea. He was also ordered to not have contact with the victims in this case. Some people see it as a win for him when it comes to reaching the field this season. Do we see Antonio Brown back before week 4?
No.
Week 4? And what is he going to be like? He's going to be 30...
Like 31 or 30.
31, right?
I think 31,
Call God.
yeah. He's so fucking shot out, bro. Like,
I don't... You know what the crazy thing is?
34? What are you talking about?
no, he's 31.
31.
I said 31. Yeah, 31. That's what he said. I think we do see him next season. Like this season coming up. I'm saying, for me, I don't know what time that will be, but there's no reason for an NFL team not to just at least take a look after all this is said and done, which it is. You know what I mean? Like judgment has gone down, but AB also has to put the work in and have everything with the legal stuff with the NFL and the NFL commissioner. If the commissioner has no other additional punishment and he say, hey, he's clear to go, I see NFL teams calling him. Like and seeing where he's at. You know what I mean? Like he's still in amazing shape, obviously. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with Cam Newton. Like there's a spot for you. And they know that. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing that happened to Colin Kaepernick, but unfortunately he got blackballed. There's a spot for him, and we can't keep going with these garbage ass wide receivers or garbage ass quarterbacks. When we can clearly have one that proved himself, went to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, so I think we see him this season definitely.
I don't think so. There's no doubt that he can play. He's one of the best ever. But just those crazy fucking rants and videos he had last year, like. That dude obviously has some issues. Like when he got signed by the Raiders, he was so happy, and then he was like, "Raiders release me, let me live." Like,
and again, he was. I feel like he was going through some stuff. That's he knows that, he admits that, and I think this time it's time he's saying, "Hey, I just want to play." You know what I mean? It's like I don't care about anything else. I just want to play. So. give me a chance. If you like what you see, I'm just gonna shut up and play.
Yeah. I mean, for the most of his career, he was a very, very silent individual. He kind of talked out a little bit, but he didn't. He wasn't the nuisance that he's been the past like couple of years.
He wasn't like T.O.
I think Mike Tomlin should go in the Hall of Fame alone for dealing with Antonio Brown for like 6 years. I don't understand how he did it. How the hell did he keep this guy under wraps for so long? And then they have one bad falling out. Starts talking shit to Juju, and then boom, he's out of there, and his fucking whole life falls apart. But one thing I find endearing is that the conversation he has with Dion is really cool. Like it's good the fact that he has players like veterans in the leagues and Hall of Fame players that he can talk to and give them perspective, because these two guys are almost one and the same person in terms of when it comes to like ego on the field, should I say? And kind of walking the walk. I mean, there's never going to be another Prime. Like he's not. No. Antonio Brown isn't really anything close, but I think he's the closest thing in the NFL to him. So it's kind of interesting to sit there and listen to Dion talk about, all the things that he went through. And Antonio obviously has time, he still has time to correct his issues. He still has time to be a better person. And you can tell when you see like Antonio just absorbing the information and the wisdom that he's giving him, that it's really kind of taking a toll on him. And I don't think he's doing it for clout. I don't think he's doing it to get back in the NFL. I think he's actually trying to better himself, which is a good thing to see.
Yeah, and again, like there's no NFL right now, or for him to try to, go crazy at or anything like that. He just has to get a job, and after the guidance and maybe other things, I think he's back to AB. But the only way we can know for sure is giving him a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sticking with no.
You don't think he'll be by week 4? Yeah, I mean it's a toss up.
Yeah, I can't put a time on it, but I just feel like it'll happen.
Imagine if he goes to fucking Tampa.
Oh God!
Can Tampa even? Here's the thing with Tampa, because that's an interesting topic. Does Tampa even need him? That's like where they're won't be greater than the sum of all their parts. If you add Antonio Brown in, does Chris Godwin get knocked off? Could Chris Godwin potentially be a better player right now than Antonio Brown is?
If it was up to me, for whatever weird reason, if they said, Dylan, do you want Antonio Brown on the Eagles? I'd say yeah. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I think every team would. Let's look at the teams last year.
Yeah,
look at the Patriots. He played one game. He had 5 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. Sample that over 16 games.
Dude, there's no doubt he could play. It's just what was up with he recorded when the Raiders called him and told him he was released, and it was so weird.
He would have 80 touchdowns. Oh, so 80 touchdowns, Jesus Christ. 80 receptions for 1,344 yards and 16 touchdowns. He would have an insane season. Obviously, you're going to have some regression throughout the season.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he got punched into an offense and performed.
So for the phone call, obviously, not to say it was staged, but he knew what he was doing when he called the Raiders. You know what I mean? And he was hoping for that reaction, which he got, and it was all recorded. And it was a lucky chance he got that, recording basically.
Yeah.
And at least the answer.
Imagine if T.O. and Chad Johnson had the social media that we have now.
Oh, they'll be the same way. They would.
I mean, they kind of not social media, crazy. But T.O. basically was manipulating things as much as possible, working out in his driveway and shit, bringing reporters there.
T.O. is one of the GOATs, though. Not that Antonio Brown isn't, but
I think it's going to take a toll on his career.
Yeah.
In terms of Hall of Fame eligibility, I think if he plays the rest of the season out, he's probably going to get there, but not if he never plays again. He's not making that. He's not making the Hall
No.
of Fame. Not even close. Do you guys want to talk about the next topic? Do you have anything you want to talk about other than the list here?
I
We're coming up
FaceTimed you
on
yesterday.
ready. 1 hour.
I FaceTimed you yesterday, and we were just bullshitting. And I think I had Impractical Jokers on in the background, and you asked me. You said, "Do you just sit there and watch cable?" And I thought that was such a weird question at first. But then I was like, you know what? How many people actually just sit? I'm not a TV person by any means, but
I just missed a putt.
what?
Putt. I just missed a birdie putt. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
A
No.
birdie
But
putt?
how
What
many?
the fuck are you talking about?
How
What are you playing?
PGA golf.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment,
No.
No. Come on.
Can I restart that?
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Yeah, my bad. He fucking. Why would you say that? Just go. He's in the middle of his thought. He goes, "I just missed my putt."
We're all about sports here.
So I FaceTimed you yesterday, Mike, and I had Impractical Jokers on in the background, and you go, do you just sit and watch cable?" And I thought that was so weird at first, but then I thought, like, not that I'm a crazy TV person and I watch TV all the time because I don't, but you said, "Are you watching cable?" And how many people these days really just watch cable? Like, everything is streaming. Shout out to Impractical Jokers. That's literally all I have on my TV at all times when there's not sports. But, like, do you think NFL or any sports are ever going to go to straight streaming, like how the UFC did? Like,
Yes and no. It's a mixed bag for one of two reasons. The reason why it hasn't shifted in the last 10 years is because the amount of money cable companies make, or networks make on ad revenue, and how much the NFL makes from the networks paying for exclusive rights like CBS, like NBC, like ESPN. NFL Network, I believe they own, so they have broadcasting rights there. But like, they make that money from the networks, and I don't think unless we see a $1 billion like a projected deal in the billions to bring it to streaming, I don't see it. The way I see it, it getting streamed is by the networks providing access through apps, which kind of already happens now, but I don't think we're gonna move over to like the NFL Network on your Roku. You know, I don't think or your PC. I don't think you're gonna log in like Netflix and watch NFL.
And remember now, you can get without cable, you can get the regular 1 through 12 or 16 on antenna and still watch your Eagles game, your local Eagles game, your local, whatever the second, NBC, NBC and CBS. Am I right saying that right? Yeah, NBC and CBS. Yeah, you both get those two games every Sunday with without paying basically anything. You know what I mean? So
I was not listening when you said DirecTV.
Huh? I didn't say DirecTV.
Oh, was it not DirecTV?
No, I said antenna.
Oh, just an antenna?
Yeah, you can get your just a regular channel 1 through
1 through you can get the basic it's like 480p
but still like why would the NFL lose that money? Just to go to streaming.
And then when we were FaceTiming, my fiance overheard the conversation. She was like, "Fox pays them out the ass. Like, they're not gonna lose out on that money."
Absolutely. It's like I said, it's $1 billion market.
Yeah.
Look at NCAA. Look at the money NCAA gets. That's why people always get pissed off about them not getting apparel rights or compensated for their jerseys or the video games and stuff like that. So
that changes next year.
Yep, it's gonna be fucking sick. But you know what I would pay for? I would pay for like an experience like the Overwatch Pass, which probably nobody fucking listening to this is familiar with. But there is a game called Overwatch. It's an esports league. where I think they're up to 22 franchise teams, like the Shanghai Dragons, the Seoul Dynasty. There's like 4 European teams. There's like 3 or 4 Asian teams. There's like I think 16 in America and Canada.
Isn't that what the Fusion plays?
Philadelphia Fusion, the New York Excelsior, and what you can do is when you go on Twitch TV or you go on to watch the matches, right? You can spend I think $20 for the season, and you get this Overwatch pass where you can, when you go into the game, say you're watching the New York Excelsior versus the San Francisco Shock, you can actually go into the game while you're watching it, and you can view from each perspective of the players independently, regardless of what the stream is showing you. So it's a 5v5 shooter, by the way. So it's like a 5v5 game mode where it's 5 on 5. And I know that was fucking stupid. So let's say the camera on the stream is following one particular player. Well, if you have the Overwatch pass, you don't have to watch that one player if you don't want to. You could watch just one person. So you could watch just that player the entire game, or you can switch between all of them. It also shows all the real-time stats. You can look at certain camera angles from certain sites. I would pay out the ass to have that in the NFL. Like, imagine a model where you get on and you can select like 4 different viewing angles for NFL games.
Like, I want to watch the 20-yard line on this.
Correct. Or a specific player. Like, how many times, like, we never see wide receivers. Like, really ever at all on TV until they catch the ball. It would be cool to like say like, I want to watch Amari Cooper this entire fucking game, or I want to highlight this one person.
Like if they wear like GoPros or like
or
not
like
even
just,
not even.
You know how they have the sliding cameras that go across the things?
Yeah,
it's almost like the NBA where they have the cameras above the goalpost and you can watch the entire game from that.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay out the ass to see that, like without commentators, with the players mic'd up. I'd pay $50. I'd pay $50 a game.
Damn.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's probably a little extreme.
Listen to us, NFL. Listen to this.
For real, I'd pay like $40 to see all of it for one weekend. For 16 NFL games.
Like unlimited games, yeah. Just $40 a week. You could go to any game. Listen to that, NFL. No, that'd be sick. That would be sick. If you had like cameras on the goalpost too.
How much is it for what you call it?
For what, like Red Zone?
Overwatch Pass.
Maybe we could talk about some esports in a future episode.
Probably.
Is that the? I would say it's the future, but it's kind of the present.
I mean, it's more prevalent now than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But 2019 Overwatch All Access Pass on Twitch. The best way to experience the Overwatch League is with the All Access Pass. The users can customize their match viewing experience with a slew of viewing options, represent their favorite players with gear and skins, and engage more directly with the league players and the fan community. All for just $14.99, actually less than half the cost of last year's pass. So they actually did a reduction. You get ad-free viewing. You get a pass holder only chat to talk to other people during the match. And then viewing challenges, completing weekly challenges, some of which you'll be able to do on your own, others that you work together complete for the Overwatch League community on Twitch, challenge rewards, including cheer and channel badges. So, I mean, that's some weird shit, but I just think it'd be a cool concept to, like, change it up. You know how they put the camera? Didn't they put the camera in a weird-ass spot the other last season?
They did that.
They have the spotter cam.
They did the what the fuck do they call it? Not a floater, but it was like behind the quarterback, up in the air.
Wasn't it called a spider cam? Something like that.
Maybe. It was behind the quarterback. No one fucking liked it. It got so much backlash on Twitter. But if they had more angles like that, like Mike said, either on certain players or certain sidelines on the goalpost, that would be dope. We got to hook up with the NFL and fucking make that happen.
I'm going to put a link below so you can see what the fuck I'm talking about. Make fun of me for it.
No.
Okay.
2 skins, black, and it's green, and
Let's you get different skins here too. All right, guys, that's another episode of the Open Field Podcast down. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know down below what you guys thought. Let us know what you want to hear from us next week. We are on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate if you'd subscribe to us there. Also, give us a 5-star rating. Really helps us out. We will be on Spotify probably next year because I still haven't got around to completing the approval. And we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.
See you.
See you.